And now, more with Social Women with your hosts, Pat Cruz, Amy Diaz, and Bronwyn.
Welcome back to Social Women. I'm your co-host, Pat Cruz. Our toll-free number is 855-252-2020. And we are into our last segment. This goes by so fast, I can't believe it. But we're here with the Executive Director of Teenage Driving Safety. Is that the name of it?
Yeah,
with
correct.
Maria Gianfrancesco.
Very good.
Did I do
Very
that
good
okay?
for a first shot. Very
Okay, I'm Italian, so I got the vowel down. Anyway, tell us a little bit. I know we were just chatting before you came on about the importance of, but tell us a little bit about your organization.
Okay, so what we do is we go into high schools, local high schools throughout the state, and we provide educational information in the high schools to teens and hope that these teens bring this message home to their parents.
Which they probably do not. I can assure you, as a mother of teenagers, that's probably not the case.
Yeah, and that may be the case, but we hope that we do provide them with a parent-teen contract at the end of the presentation that I give to encourage them to go home and sign it with their parents and go over it with them, just to give their parents a peace of mind that they are going to be more responsible and they're going to take accountability when they get in the car. So it's really to give their parents a peace of mind and a sense of, okay, I don't have to worry as much.
What's in this contract?
The contract, I should have taken it with me. It's a series of things that you are aware of when you get in the car. You know, I will wear my seatbelt. I will not use my phone. I will not text and drive.
So
I will not go on Facebook.
a form of like affirmations for
Yes.
car safety, for
Yeah.
driving.
Certainly.
My daily driving affirmations.
Yes. And it's also taking responsibility for the passengers that you have in your car, the family members you have in your car, your siblings. So to really getting the whole family involved to make sure that the kids get the message and everybody is safe.
And, you know, that's a big benefit because accidents happen. Accidents happen.
Anyway.
Accidents happen. We had a horrible accident with some of the kids at Pilgrim.
Yes.
And, 4 girls, and they weren't out drinking and driving. And they weren't out getting into trouble. And accidents happen.
Yeah.
And we lost 2
And
out of 4.
it's a
Very
great,
difficult.
It is. And Rhode Island is not, affected by this.
Yeah.
We've had our share, and that's a great segue for, it's not just, at one time it was about drinking and driving. That was
Right.
the big issue. It's so much bigger now, and it's not just on the phone, texting and driving, going on Facebook, using your iPad, and they're inexperienced drivers.
Right.
So when you are an inexperienced driver as a teenager, you add that on to talking on the phone, trying to drive, one hand on the radio, their friends in the car, they're having a conversation, and they're inexperienced.
And they're driving on the road with other people who may be doing the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not always
Yeah.
just them, but they need to be more than 100% aware of what's going on.
And part of the presentation that I give in the high school, I do a PowerPoint. It's very brief. It just really gives them some pointers on how to be safe and avoid dangerous situations. But also, I really explain what we don't really think when we get in the car and we drive. We just do it. It's an action. It comes natural. We get in the car and we go. But I really lay out the groundwork for what are you really doing when you're driving. And when I list all of the things and I ask them, you have to do all of these things. You have to pay attention to your car. Is it safe? The people in front of you, the side of you, behind you, your speed limit. Are there any hazards in front of you? You know, the traffic signals. I mean, there's so many different variables that you have to pay attention to. It is next to impossible to be talking on the phone or texting or being distracted by anything and actually be paying attention 100%. And
Right.
But how do you break through to like the kids now? Because social media and being on the phone, it's really hard. I see kids out at dinner tables where my parents would never have allowed that. Well, we didn't have cell phones
Right.
at that point. But, texting, they can't get their faces out of the phones. How do you convince somebody in their teens of the gravity of the situation that, yes, people die, that it's not maybe somebody else, but it could be you? How do you relay that message? And especially sometimes where the parents are the ones getting in the cars going, all right, honey, I'm going to take you to hockey practice, and, oh, but wait, and texting while they're driving, like as examples for their kids.
I know,
Well-
because my kids actually will say to me, Mom, phone down.
good.
Because
That's
it's
great.
if it's ringing or whatever, I'll not be in the middle of a drive, but at a stop sign or a red light or whatever. Yes, I will. I do answer.
Yeah.
I find
You know
myself
what?
doing
You
it. I
just
shouldn't
said-
do it, and I do find myself doing
It's
it.
habit. It's become
It is.
habitual for everybody.
I have a question about the stop sign. I just recently heard over the break we were talking about the law and no texting and driving. Is it true that you can text if you're at a stop sign?
I mean, it's
A stop sign or a red
you're
light?
just still driving. You're
Okay.
just obeying the law. Side of caution, just don't do it.
Exactly. But per the law,
yeah.
is it true that you can?
I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know the exact
Okay.
verbiage in there, but
Yeah.
I can't imagine that being okay
Okay.
at a red light, at a stop sign, because again, you still have to pay attention
To the
when
road,
you're at
exactly.
a stop sign or a red light. But you bring up an interesting point. I had a young lady at a recent presentation. She was a student, and after the presentation, I have a few minutes for Q&As, and a young lady said to me, "I'm really scared because my dad is always texting in the car, and I ask him to stop, and he ignores me." So I said, "Well, you have a very important message to send home to your father." And I handed her the contract, and she was, very taken back by the presentation. Part of the other part that I do is the PowerPoint. I showed 2 really graphic videos. One is a dramatization of young girls texting and driving, and the result is horrific, and it's very graphic. And the other one is a video from AT&T. I don't know if you all have seen it, but it shows personal accounts and stories that have affected people. And the family members who have survived have the phone that was involved in the tragic accident, and they hold up the phone, and they show the one word or the text that actually killed the teen.
Wow.
Because the police can get the records and prove that text was the result of this death. And so many of the phones that these families were holding up, it was simple, it was LOL. How quick is that? It's a second, half of a second. LOL, or what are you doing? It was so simple, but it killed their family members. And one young man, he didn't die, but he's severely paralyzed as a result of his friend.
You know what I saw actually this morning? I think it was a Today Show or something. They were discussing texting and driving. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was it was a short segment, and they had these teenagers that they put on like a driving course, and then they put them on the same driving course. And I think this might be a good idea for parents to do. If you could bring them in, and they set up the little orange cones, and they said, all right, and then the parents got right next to them in the seats after they had done this driving course perfectly, and said, I want you to text me something, and gave them specific directions. And all these kids absolutely hit almost every single
Absolutely.
cone, but it brought to them the awareness of, oh my gosh, my driving's really that bad when I am not paying attention to what's in front of me.
Well,
So-
I think no matter what, adults or teenagers, and I think the bigger issue with teenagers, I'll tell you, I have a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. It does scare the crap out of me when they go
Sure.
anywhere,
Yeah.
because it's not just about them, and they are not driving. It's not about them. It's about everything that happens around them,
Yes.
and it only
That's-
takes a split second.
And that's what my mom
Split
always
second.
said to me. She's like, I know that you're responsible and I trust you. It's everyone else I don't trust.
It's
And it's true. And
very difficult.
If you really think about that, not being able to trust the others around you, all the more reason to not be distracted yourself
Right.
on your cell phone. I have friends who do it. I don't do it. I don't know if it's because, unfortunately, I have been in a few accidents, and when I'm in the car, I'm very, very vigilant. I do have to ask my friends, stop, or let me text, you drive.
So
it
in
scares
addition to
me.
texting, and of course we spoke a little bit about drinking and driving, what are some other factors that contribute to kind of taking the attention away from the wheel for teenagers?
Certainly. I mean, in addition to just all of the technology at our teens' disposal, and I don't want to just direct this to teens, parents and families, if you add that with, everyone has DVD players in their car, and it could be the simple conversation on the phone, even talking on the phone it's considered a distraction.
Even if you don't have the phone, even if you're not holding onto the phone, if it's the Bluetooth and you're still talking.
You're distracted.
Okay.
You're not paying attention to all of those different variables. You're paying attention to the conversation at hand.
Yeah.
So
We have about a minute.
I know, I have a question though. The video that you do show, first of all, anyone out there that's listening who either is just interested in being a safer driver or has teenagers and they're interested in, getting them to be a little more aware of what's going on around them and the importance of driving safely, where would you send them? So for me, I would say, hey guys, look, I want you to check out this graphic video and see what happens.
Certainly.
Where would you send them? So if someone was interested as a parent or someone who's, a teen or at any age really that wants to see the consequences of what could happen when they're not paying attention, where would you send them online?
Online,
Yeah.
specifically. One of the videos I use is actually banned in the U.S. I use it because I think it has a powerful message. It's graphic. Viewer discretion is advised, but it's reality. Why are we going to censor the reality of these
Is it a
dangers?
dramatization or is it
Yes,
real?
it's a dramatization.
Okay.
It's called Texting While Driving, and it was filmed actually in the UK.
Is that the Four Girls?
I think it's 4 girls.
Is that the Four Girls one?
Yeah.
I think I've seen that one.
Very graphic.
Yeah, it's very graphic.
And the other one is great. It's by AT&T, Texting While Driving.
So
Excellent.
texting while driving, if you just,
yeah.
it's on there now.
Well, that just about does it for our segment. How can our viewers get in touch with you if they want to go ahead and get more information?
They can visit our website at www.teenagedrivingsafety.org or visit our Facebook page and shoot over a message.
And what about schools? About
Schools,
getting
yeah.
into schools.
I'm really trying to get in all the schools. If you're a parent, talk to your schools. I want to get in. We do it free of charge. We do rely on our sponsors, so we're looking for sponsors to always help improve our program.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much for
You're
being
welcome.
with us.
Thank you for having me.